Good morning and welcome back to the Trailer Park. I am Chanda-Masta and this is your midweek recap. And hello, October. Anybody feeling the cold? Have to turn the heat on? Yeah, I had to turn my heater on. But then I forgot to shut it off because in the morning it's cold and then in the afternoon it's hot. So I'm turning the AC on. The other night I was in the pits of hell because I had my AC and my furnace running. I woke up like, what the fuck? You just forget. Good morning, chat. Yeah, we're up in a couple of new places this morning. Hopefully, we showed up on my Twitter account because we always go to Beauty and the Boomers Twitter account, but I'm trying to see if we're there. I don't see us. Maybe I need to work the kinks out on that one. Anyways, I tried. Do you guys like my new little countdown? You know, I'm moving into a new studio. I keep telling you guys that because, of course, I've got an amazing stream deck for my birthday a couple months ago that does sound effects. But after Monday's show with Pasta, I'm just like, oh, I've got to get out of this studio. I know it looked okay, but it wasn't okay behind the scenes. Like, Pasta was froze for half of it. My guests never look good because this stupid program puts them in like 30 frames per second or some shit. It's great for restreaming. It's not great for a studio. So I'm in the middle of a move, but I'm trying not to let that affect my works and trying to keep up. So I spent half of yesterday building that new bumper intro, but hopefully in a week we'll be in the new studio. And that means I can have guests. I haven't been able to have guests because my studio craps out on me, but Pasta's so sweet. He'll come in and deal with it, even though I know it, it doesn't show his best side. But if you guys haven't checked out that Monday show, go check it out. I got to talk to Pasta about his new documentary, Lahaina on Fire, The Aftermath, Volume 1, which means he's going back. And I have so much, I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired by both Fee and Pasta. You know, they started out with the combo couch and they are just letting it rip. I got a Fee says on my deck, and of course, it's just fun watching them slay and kill it. Pasta's done an amazing job of holding down the Jimmy Dore show, and people are like, oh fuck that, we want Jimmy back, and I get it. I want Jimmy back too, but the thing is Jimmy's got to get out there and tour. He's got to be on the ground. And if you don't do a show, the algorithm fucking kills you. They take your viewers away. You don't get put in the scroll anymore. So Pasta has done Jimmy a really huge favor by holding down that show. Why am I so cloudy? Let me see. Make sure I'm on 1080. Yeah, apparently I'm okay. And my internet's so shit too. I looked into upgrading my internet, but turns out I have the best internet I can get where I am. Like, what can you do? Good morning, chat. Hey, Anthony, good to see you. Kate's holding down the fort. Kurt Boss is in here being a boss. Bella Lugosi, good to see you. Aspen Fallen. Chris Foster's in the house. Good to see you, Chris. You gonna join us for our Halloween extravaganza over on Beauty and the Boomer? It's coming up. You guys know we go big for Halloween. I'm already working on my costume. I got the wig. I got a couple accessories. I still got a few things to get, but it's gonna be fun. We always have a blast. And hey, if you dress up, you can come hang out and be in the green room. And be our live studio audience for the Saturday show. Hey, Popeye, you having a birthday? I'll try to catch it. I try to catch your guys' birthdays. I try to do the birthday shout out thing. So you guys remind me. I am so bad. Like, I freak out every year and think I forgot Oz's birthday. So like, I have a reminder to myself now, but it doesn't help me that Oz has like 5 different birthdays on Facebook. So I don't know which one's real. We celebrate Oz's birthday on or Halloween. Jax is here. How you doing, Jax? Give Alfie some love. Becca C, good to see you. Jilly Love's always in the house. Our mod extravaganza. Come on, scroll. Kate, is that you? Kate, do you have multiple accounts? I'm confused. Or is it a new person? Welcome if it's a new person. Snow Leopard's here, and Uncle Warren's in the house. If you guys aren't following Extra Bullet, go follow Extra Bullet because you get the super secret show on Saturday nights right behind Beauty and the Boomer. Always a good backer-upper. Hey, Rokfin, how's it going? We love our Rokfinners. Jim's over there. Happy birthday, Popeye. You're getting birthday love over on the Rokfins. Fred Edwards, thank you so much for being an amazing mod, getting our stuff shared out there. I mean, I try to tweet it out, but I just know in the back of my head if I don't, Fred will. So I try though. I try. Yeah, we got a couple. I'm seeing less and less people on Rokfin, and maybe it's just us. Maybe they don't like our shows, but I think it's overall. I think traffic's down on Rokfin. A lot of people are moving to Rumble. We're over on Rumble. Ghost Start's over on Rumble. Good morning, Ghost Start, and all the other people watching over there who are not chatting. And then, of course, we are on Kick, because Kick it. I think we're on Twitch too, but I never log into the Twitch. So if you're watching on Twitch, welcome. I'm sorry. Twitch just didn't do much for us over the last few years, so I don't hang out there. Okay, I think I got all of them logged in. I'm supposed to be on X on my own account, but it must not have launched. Well, isn't that a pisser? But we're probably at Beauty and the Boomer. Okay, we've got a huge show today. We're probably going to run 2.5 hours. You guys know there is so much to talk about. And it's so crazy because every Tuesday morning, every Sunday morning, and every Tuesday morning, I sit down to an empty deck that's got 65 open slides. And I have a panic attack and I go, oh my God, where am I going to find enough content to fill this show? And then all day I dig around finding stuff and reading articles and watching videos and going through tweets. And then by the end of the day, I go, oh my God, how did I get such a big show? That's the craziness of the world we live in right now. So fair use, we are on the YouTubes this morning. I am merely giving my opinion and commentating. I don't pretend that these are news reports, even though they are news reports. And I just merely scratch the surface. If you are interested in anything I'm talking about, please go do your own research. I promise you, the truth is out there. They just don't think you'll go looking for it. And if you do, you will be a crazy conspiracy theorist. You know it. I know it. Anymore, I just embrace it. Like, yeah, I'm one of those crazy ass people who thinks this and thinks that. I don't even care anymore. And I saw the comment going down in the chat about the anti-vaxxers. That's terrible. That is terrible. Wishing death on other people. Not cool, man. I don't care if they are the opposite side. Like, that's the problem with our fucking society. There's too many little, cliques. And I'm ready to become a 5G zombie. Me too. It's supposed to be starting it's 2:00 Pacific time. So that's what, 11 o'clock. We will be on the air for it. We're going to talk about it. It's my first segment. But first, I want to beg for money. If you want to help me out, there's my spot fund me. And of course, all the links are in the link tree down below to all the other perfect ways to help me out. Whatever is easiest for you. Some people hate PayPal. Some people, I don't do GoFundMe anymore. Those fuckers just flat shut me down. So bye-bye. But PayPal hasn't messed with me yet. I'm not big enough. So once they do start messing with me, I'll give them the boot. But for right now, it is a pretty effective way to help me out. But there's lots of other ways too. You can buy me a coffee. You can, you can become a Patreon. We love our Patreon. Our Patreons are what's kept us in the game for the last 3 years. So thank you to all of our Patreons. Did you guys catch movie night last week? It was a beta test, so it was a little bit of a shit show, but we got through it, and we're figuring stuff out. We found out that you guys like it when we're up over the movie, talking kind of over it, because we don't want to interrupt the movie, but we want to have fun too. So okay, let's get started with this day in history, and then we will talk about the great zombie 5G apocalypse that's coming. So this day in history, there was actually quite a bit. Let's see, the first Bible, the first is the Gideon's Bible, was printed. And that was 1536. 1582, the Gregorian calendar was introduced. And over the following centuries, numerous countries adopted it. Yeah, we know. We lost a few days here and there, maybe a couple of years. Have you guys heard the conspiracy theory where like half of the Middle Ages didn't happen, or we're missing like 300 years? Yeah, there's some crazy ass conspiracies out there. Like dinosaurs aren't real. I heard that one this morning. What? Dinosaurs aren't real? What the hell are you talking about? Okay, 1853, the Crimean War begins as the Ottoman Turks, later joined by England and France, declare war on Russia. Look at that. Everybody's always fucking declaring war on Russia. And let's see, it lasted more than 2 years and ended with Russia's defeat. Maybe that was a one-time occurrence. And let's see. Yeah, this one is sad. 1970, American singer Janis Joplin, who was known for her fierce and uninhibited music style, died of an accidental heroin overdose. And she became a member of the 27 Club. If you don't know what the 27 Club is, there's this it's not really a conspiracy because it actually happened. A lot of musicians have died at 27. Jimi Hendrix, like Jim Morrison, there's quite the list. And finally, but not least, 1927, Mount Rushmore was sculpted. Have you been there? I saw the backside of it. I was too lazy to drive in and actually go look at it. I mean, my grandparents sent me hundreds of pictures when I was little, so I was just like, yeah, okay. And birthdays, Charleston Heston, I am Spartacus, and of course, our favorite Hollywood activist, Susan Sarandon. Happy birthday, Susan Sarandon. That is your This Day in History. Some days are better than others. Like some days I'm digging for anything that's even interesting in history. And then other days, a lot of stuff goes on. Jimmy was taken out in Paris for his revolutionary acts. You know, there is a lot of people that say a lot of these musicians, we talk about the CIA and the CAA. Of course, they go to these musicians and these actors. Why? Because they travel a lot. They're in close proximity to stars and royalty, and there's so much outreach that they could do. The CIA wants them. And there's a lot of them, right? So who knows? Maybe Jimmy was fighting back, and that's why they took him down. Very sad, though. I'm from Seattle, so of course we worship Jimi Hendrix here. Okay, guys, let's talk about it. Emergency alert will sound October 4th on all U.S. phones. Have I checked my phone yet? Oh my God, the amount of messages that I've got from people like, turn your phone off, go hide in the woods, turn your router off. I'm just like, you know what? If they're going to start at a zombie apocalypse, you think they're going to fucking tell us they're doing it? Like, okay, the zombie apocalypse starts at 2 o'clock on October 4th. That's not what's going to happen. And but I do find it very odd timing. Of course, they're testing out the FEMA system after we saw the lack of alarm system that went off in Lahaina. But remember, like 4 years ago, they got that incoming missile alert. Like, obviously, the alert system was working. You scared a whole entire state into thinking that they were kissing their asses goodbye. And what other crazy weird? Oh, the other weird thing is Russia's running an emergency alert at the same time. What do you guys suppose that's about? A global emergency alert? Just seems weird. But we are going global for everything, right? That's what they want. That's the ultimate goal of the WEF. Can't talk this morning. Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. And I brought an article. Let's see what it says. Let's see what this article says. Okay. I could bring it in for you guys to see, but I'm being lazy, so I don't feel like it. Your electronic device may alarm you on Wednesday afternoon, but there's a reason for that. A nationwide test, the Federal Emergency Alert System will be broadcast at approximately 2:20 Eastern time to cell phones, televisions, and radios across the United States. Most Americans with wireless devices will receive an emergency alert message on their phone, as well as most who watch television and listen to the radio. They will conduct this test on Wednesday and coordinate with the FCC emergency alert message that divides the group into two: the emergency alert system for radio and television, and the wireless emergency alert for wireless phones. So that's why they're doing it. They're trying to make sure that they got all their bases covered. Wednesday marks the 7th national test of the emergency alert system. 6 previous tests were conducted over the years between 2011 and 2021. There will be a 3rd national test of wireless alerts and a 2nd national test transmitted to all cell phones, FEMA says. Now, we're hearing that's going to be October 11th. And then they just go on to tell you how glorious wireless is, and that it's going to go through all the cell towers. The test will last approximately 30 minutes. FEMA notes that if you're on a phone call at the time of the alert, the message and tone will delay until you hang up. Oh, isn't that convenient? At least it's not going to buzz in your ear while you're in the middle of work, right? The alert was transmitted automatically when it appears on cell phones where those language settings are. Oh, so it will come in whatever language you have your phone set for. Obviously, that's kind of a stupid one. Is it possible to opt out of this wireless test? People can elect not to receive certain emergency alert messages to their cell phones from local authorities, or in some instances, simply deciding whether to subscribe or not to specific sets of emergency alerts. Yeah, you got all those little things on your phone. You can turn them on and off. I have an iPhone. I hate iPhone. Believe me, I know I'm going back to Android, but yeah, you can turn a lot of that crap off. Part of the reason why the system works the way it does is that cell phones have the ability to pick up broadcast signals. Oh, imagine that. What signals? So he notes that they're integrating public alert systems relies on broadcast technology. Oh. And that transfers information about emergency cell phone towers, and each of those towers have beams that information out to which wireless devices are geographically within their reach. Okay, so the broadcast goes out, hits the cell towers, and the cell tower sends it out to anything that's connected to that cell tower, right? FEMA's upcoming tests recently sparked a wave of conspiracy theorists online, which are not based in reality and misrepresenting how the technology works. And then it goes on to tell you exactly how it works. Of course, they got to throw the whole conspiracy theorist bullshit in there, right? Every time. I just embrace it anymore. That's who I am. I'm a crazy. Yes, Oz. Big Brother is watching you. I know, Oz Lennon. I love this meme that came out yesterday. Bro, please just turn your phone off for a few hours, bro. They're going to beam a frequency and it's going to activate the graphene oxide, bro. Even if you didn't get the shot, it could be really bad, bro. If it doesn't happen October 4th, it'll definitely maybe happen October 11th, bro. Please, bro, you got to take this serious. It came from a trusted source. You got to live in fear like me, bro. Please, bro. Please. Come on, that was pretty funny. That was funny. I did hear a lot of that the last couple of weeks. Like, oh my God, freak out. Like, what can you do about it? What can you do about it? They want to send a fucking space laser from Elon Starlinks to beam you right between the eyes. Guess what? They can. And if they don't get you that way, they can just send in one of those little wasp drones to blow up in front of your face. So stop being paranoid of everything, because everything's coming to kill you. I promise. Okay, let's get to the biggest news that's happened in 24 hours. And we got a lot to talk about. Breaking, Kevin McCarthy is out as Speaker of the House in a dramatic vote of Democrats joining with GOP critics to topple him. McCarthy became the first speaker ever to be ousted from the job in a House vote. Oh no, that sucks. I know, Como, huh? I know, Fredo, it sucks. You guys don't have a partner no more. So it looks like Dems unanimously have voted to get rid of him. 8 Republicans stepped up and voted against him. Come on. We saw this happening. We saw this coming, in January when it took 15 fucking ballots to get him in there. And didn't he just get in by one vote? I think he got in there by like one vote on the 15th ballot. And remember the big fight. And I brought you guys a little clip of it he had with Matt Gaetz that day. And why do I always want to call her Lorena Bobbitt? It's Lauren Boebach, right? Or something like that. Yeah. I always want to call her Lorena Bobbitt. I guess I got Bobbitt on the mind. So I brought you guys a clip of the long walk home, and this was McCarthy being escorted out yesterday. And the look on his face and how beat ready he is, it tells it all, man. The walk of shame.
Congressman, will you resign? Congressman, will you resign? Will you resign?
Will you put yourself back on the ballot, sir?
Did you mock the congressman's faith? Don't go behind me.
Yeah, what he was feeling when making that walk, right? Can't believe that just happened to me. Holy shit. Yeah, that was a walk of shame for sure. But I wanted to remind you guys why this is going on, right? Why is this? Why did Matt Gaetz decide to freaking attack McCarthy and take him out like this? We're going to talk about force the vote because that's the first thing that blew through my fucking mind. Like, we wanted to do this first, and here it is, the generic squad from the right actually using leverage against their own party like we wanted to. But remember, this is what spurred it.
Son, what does it go for, Bill? Can you say it? Well, who knows? A really rich doctor said you were a bummer.
And I think you don't know algebra.
No, we're talking science, bud.
The science of what? Is that a tiger?
One of your friends promised me I could flick you in your face.
Absolutely, you may not do that.
Hit him in his cringy smirk, for real.
Say any cereal name.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
You're like people in the 12th century.
Why'd he say it like that?
You're a formulated
He's
pickle
worse than
popper.
that. He's a storm cloud.
I don't like you, dude. And there's a tiger. That's it. You two guys sent the tiger.
I did
No.
not me.
What
I mean,
tiger? That's
I mean,
That is reprehensible.
okay, I'm
Brad?
a horrible person.
Brad, I'll report you to Nadine.
I just want your leg bones to be okay.
We don't
I
know
brought
what
the
was
tiger.
actually said in this conversation.
Really, you got somebody on the organ now? Hey man, you're gonna pay for dinner. You're gonna pay. No.
So, of course, that was the conversation that has spurred all this, right? This went down on like the 14th vote in January for McCarthy. I love the bad lip reading on this one. We never did ever actually hear what that conversation was about. I don't think we need to, just by the looks and the reactions of a lot of them, right? But I couldn't help but come across this meme in my memories from exactly 10 years ago yesterday when we all thought Bonner was the worst speaker ever. Turns out, nope, he wasn't. Weakest political leader since the Articles of the Confederation. He no longer holds that title. I gotta say, I think McCarthy holds that title now. What do you guys think? I do. I think that I didn't think Bonner was that bad. I mean, at the time I did, but I bought a lot of the Democratic rhetoric. Now I look back and I don't know. Yeah, crying Bonner. We still don't know what happened to him, right? He went and he met the Pope, and then all of a sudden he grew a conscience and he resigned like 2 days later. What the hell was all that about? And then don't worry though, he's been making money because when I was in the legal cannabis industry in Washington state, it turns out that so is he. He bought up a bunch of legal weed. So who knows? So weird. So weird. The memes have been off of the damn hook. Did you guys see Ilhan Omar like salivating all over herself yesterday? What in the hell was that all about? And I love this make your own meme that got put out there. So I had to add, haha, we told them force the vote would never work because that is the reality of it. Our own progressive squad fucking members that we got on the ground, grassroots organized for, grassroots supported, flat out spun in our face and said, F you, we know better. We would never do that to our party. We can't do that to Pelosi. Shit, they had more votes than the Republicans on getting rid of Pelosi, and Bonner weeping like the dick he is. Yeah, right. Thirsty Ilhan. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. But I gotta say, I've got to give Brianna Joy Gray props because she was one of the commentators out there really pushing back and putting this in people's face. Ryan Grimm, Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland. I mean, we have seen Brianna Joy Gray push back about force the vote since it happened, 3 years ago? Was it? Oh, 2 years ago. Well, it was almost 3 years ago, right? It was 2020. It was right when they took over and walked in. So she, of course, yesterday was out there getting those tweets out while Democrats are bending over backwards to pretend that force the vote strategy is emblematic of the Republican Party in disarray. What this moment really shows is how fully controlled by the corporate Democrat Party progressive Democrats really are. Now, this was a tweet I want to say from January 4th of this year, maybe, just reminding people about it. So let's hear what she has to say about it. Maybe.
Exactly this what happened. Rallied over the holidays in 2020, staffing phone trees and calling progressive Congress members furiously about the plan and even planning rallies. As left media figures debated the merits of the plan, people like David Sirota offered constructive additions to the ask, including a suggestion that Pelosi be forced to oust corporate Democrat Richie Neal from the Ways and Means Committee, where he was poised to stop progress on health care reform. What should be clear is the specifics of the ask were much less important than the following fact. Nancy Pelosi was obviously an enemy to the left and should not have been voted for without gaining something significant in return. After AOC's first notable day in Congress, during which she protested with climate activists in Pelosi's office, the longtime speaker made quick work of bullying the squad members into submission. An iron fist and a Gucci glove is how Politico described Pelosi once. And over the course of their first 2 years in Congress, the squad members largely submitted to said fist. But here was an opportunity to draw attention to the corruption that paid for that proverbial Gucci glove. The squad members could have demanded important committee assignments, as the current rebel Republicans have done. They could have forced a vote on banning stock trading by Congress members. After all, Pelosi's personal wealth has ballooned during her decades in office, widely out of proportion to her congressional salary. This is a woman who famously defended congressional stock trading despite the clear conflict of interest and insider knowledge Congress members possess. This is a woman who just presided over the quiet death of a bill to end congressional stock trading, one that was arguably designed to fail in the first place. But instead of choosing that moment to fight, to highlight the corruption of the Democratic Party, and to lead a genuine populist movement that stood a chance of waking people up to the limitations of the two-party duopoly, something curious happened. A call seemed to go out to leading figures in the progressive media that they should drop force the vote. Although I first heard of the idea from Sam Seder, host of the YouTube show Majority Report, who said he supported Jimmy Dore's idea despite having a long-standing feud with Jimmy. He quickly changed his tune, alluding to a call he'd received that discouraged this approach. A call from whom? We could only guess. The legacy left media all quickly turned against the idea, with large accounts like the Young Turks, Majority Report, and others spreading outright misinformation about the risks of what might happen if the squad declined to vote for Nancy Pelosi. They repeatedly claimed, wrongly, that Kevin McCarthy would become Speaker of the House by default.
That crap?
Of course, as we all saw yesterday and today, that was never true. Hakeem Jeffries is not magically Speaker of the House, despite earning more votes in the first count than McCarthy did yesterday. You need a majority of the House, not just a bare majority, to be Speaker. And yet the lie was so pervasive that Pramila Jayapal herself lied directly to former Rising host Ryan Grimm's face when he asked her during an interview why she voted for Nancy Pelosi without demanding real concessions.
Now, there were some pundits and left-wing media personalities ahead of this vote who were urging the CPC to use the vote for Speaker as leverage to extract a floor vote on Medicare for All. Why didn't the CPC end up taking that particular route?
Well, I'm sympathetic, obviously, as the lead sponsor of the bill, to people who are frustrated that we have not moved to a single-payer system yet. But the reality is that this is a very slim margin. The vote for Speaker was between Kevin McCarthy and Nancy.
See, right there, they're lying. They're flat ass. We called her on this bullshit when it fucking happened. Pramila Jayapal. She's not my exact district, but she's the district next to me. And I was out there campaigning for her ass in 2016. State convention, she was saying all the right things. I stand with Palestine. I'm for Medicare for all. But when you try to get the squad to act on any of this shit, they absolutely couldn't, right? Oh, no, we could never do that to Mama Bear. That was where the whole Mama Bear term came from, was from AOC's response to this. So there's a little bit more to this. I want to give Bree her due because we talk a lot of shit about Bree. We do over the years. I know I have. But she had this right, and she was out there driving this. So I will give her due on it for sure.
Pelosi. And throwing the entire chamber into chaos would have been very detrimental for the Electoral College vote and everything else.
I later confronted Ryan about his failure to push back against Jayapal's claim on my podcast, and we had a constructive conversation about how things could have been handled differently. But since squad members rarely open themselves up to questioning from anyone in progressive media outside of Ryan Grimm at The Intercept, that missed opportunity was one that carried the lie that Kevin McCarthy could become Speaker if Democrats force the vote far and wide. Sam Seder was one of the most vocal opponents to force the vote. After, of course, he supported it. And following a 3-hour debate with me on my podcast, it was incredibly demoralizing to hear that he did not understand the basic facts of how the congressional vote even worked. I recommend everyone go and listen to that debate at back.
I recommend you don't. It's disgusting. Sam Seder is such a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He just knows what he's told. He regurgitates what he is told by whatever progressive squad member called him and told him, don't push this. And that's exactly what happened. Huge kudos to Jimmy Dore. He had it right. He saw the leverage. He knew we could use it. I'm pissed. I had my Force the Vote shirt out this morning. I was going to wear it and I forgotten to put it somewhere. I don't know. But of course, I was a huge part of that Force the Vote movement. And so many of you were too. And yesterday when this went down, it was fucking vindication. Like, we told you it would work, but instead you guys chicken shitted out. You were never progressive. You were never there to fight for the actual people. And you guys are getting showed up by the goddamn Republican squad. That's just sad. Now, that is just sad. So, of course, the tweets were flying yesterday. And, of course, I had to bring over Jimmy's. Jimmy says, day after day, we are shown that hashtag Force the Vote was the correct strategy. And AOC and the hashtag Fraud Squad turned on their base, sided with the establishment. Imagine the energy, enthusiasm, and power to make demands the left could have had if they were more like Matt Gaetz and less like themselves. Don't forget the liars in the left media who slaughtered us and lied to protect crooked politicians such as Cenk Uygur and Ryan Grimm, etc., etc. And of course, Sam Seder had to retweet this out with a, we were joking on the show today that no one could be this stupid. And yet, are you talking about yourself, Sam? Because that's the only person you could be talking to. Well, we never thought anybody could be this stupid, but yet here you are. So the Cedar Peter Smugdent Award goes back to Sam, as it always does. Jax was out there laying out some truth too. It is so sad you can't stop talking about Jimmy. He never even mentions you and your pathetic, lame podcast. Hashtag Jimmy all the time. Damn right, Jax. You know, Jimmy hasn't been wrong anywhere that I could see over since 2015, since I've been following him. He's taken a lot of shit over the years, and you know, he's still standing. He's still standing. He's still going strong. So Glenn Greenwald got in on it and said House Democrats state what their priorities and demands would be in order to support a GOP House member for Speaker. At the top of the list, Medicare for all. Oh, wait, sorry. That's not on the list. At the top of the list, more funding for the war in Ukraine. And that's what it comes down to. Let's see. What is highlighted? Gaetz and 7 other Republicans voted to remove McCarthy as Speaker, along with 208 Democrats in a 216 to 210 vote Tuesday. Hakeem Jeffries of New York said that any speaker the Democrats support would have to agree to more funding for the Ukraine. So there you are. The Dems are not going to get on board unless they get more money. And look at the new GIF I got. I love it. The cult of Dor. I am the cult of Dor. And I will always be the cult of Dor. So there you are. Jimmy Dore is the George Carlin of our generation. And if you can't see that, then you don't know shit about George Carlin. So Jimmy's right again. Jimmy was right again. But you know, these damn Democrats that's what it's going to be about, right? We keep saying, oh, remember last week when the Republicans were like, we're going to shut it down. We don't want any more money going to Ukraine. And then you got the likes of Lindsey Graham out there doing the Sunday morning talk show saying, we need more money for Ukraine. So the Republicans, they're just as on board with this war as the Democrats because it is one corporate captured uniparty. And that's what it is. So who's going to replace him? Who are they going to put as speaker now? Well, there's a lot of suggestions flying around out there, but my favorite so far has been this one.
I didn't even bring up Trump as speaker. A reporter asked me about it, and I responded honestly. And frankly, Speaker Trump has a great ring to it.
Come on, that's just funny. Like, I mean, Trump can't even be speaker, right? They're not allowed to just pick somebody randomly. I think they have to be in the House, don't they? I don't pretend to know how this works, but these motherfuckers try to pretend all the time like they don't know how it works. AOC didn't know how it works because, McCarthy will become speaker if we go against Pelosi. So I'm sure they're going to put some false bullshit narrative out there. Fetterman, Popeye. Why not? He'd make a good speaker of the House. He can't really speak, right? Nobody for speaker. I agree, Uncle Warren. Nobody for speaker. So this morning, this just dropped as I was going live. Oz sent it to me. I had to hurry up and put it on the deck just to show you how disgusting Democrats are. And our favorite cuck, Bernie Sanders, is out there having protesters arrested. Yes, I saw that. I'll say that again. Bernie Sanders is having protesters arrested for holding up a tweet that Bernie said. It's a Bernie quote, but how dare you quote me? So check it out. This is outside Bernie's office this morning.
You're
subject to arrest. Bad cop, you never fucking handcuff in the front.
For holding up a sign, a quote from Bernie Sanders calling for negotiation. Bernie Sanders had me arrested for holding up his own quote.
Bernie Sanders had me arrested for holding up his own quote. And I probably know exactly what quote that is because I think I brought it somewhere. Didn't I bring it Monday? I brought it Monday. It was a 2020 quote, I want to say, where Bernie is like, no war, back when Bernie pretended to be anti-war, but he's not anti-war anymore. And that is disgusting. That came from Code Pink. Of course, Code Pink was out there. Think what you want about Code Pink. I'm not here to tell you either way, because some days I like what they're doing. Some days I'm just like, what the hell are you guys doing? Let's see. Hillary was happy with McCarthy. She's going to be sad now, right? I think this was from this weekend, maybe, where she gets asked about the speaker.
McCarthy, does he deserve to keep his job as speaker, and should Democrats help bail him out?
Well, I'm going to let Hakeem Jeffries and his caucus decide that, but I was pleasantly surprised that the speaker did the right thing when he made common cause with those, as we like to say, grown-up members of his own Republican caucus and Democrats to keep the government open. I would hope that kind of mature leadership isn't punished by the most extreme members of his caucus.
Aww.
So how the Democrats play this, and they have a couple of different options, is for them to decide. But I think McCarthy did the right thing for the country. And isn't that a good thing to be able to say? He did the right thing for the country.
He did the right thing for the country. Yeah, he did. She knows. Crazy Puppet's in the house. Good morning, Crazy Puppet. How's the long haul out there going? Stinks for the super chat. Return of Pelosi in Congress is near you. It really truly is, right? Oh, why can't she be speaker again? I know. We'll just make her the speaker again, right? She needs more stock tips, more insider trading. And, Hillary sure has been doing the rounds a lot lately. Have you guys seen her? Like every Sunday, she's out there on some morning show, be Face the Nation or CBS or, but she doesn't come in her real identity. And there you are. There is her real identity. Oh, wait. They're all like that. What? I'm going to let you guys see that again. That is a cool gif. Oh, creepy. So creepy. Isn't that creepy? Halloween, guys. It's October. This is Hello October. And that Hillary picture is going to stick around the decks for a while. It'll probably show up over at Beauty and the Boomer, too. It's just too funny. You guys think it's funny. That's why I bring it. Well, you know what? If we don't laugh at this shit, we'll go insane. We totally will. Okay, so let's see. What is this? This is Tulsi. Tulsi went and stopped by, what is it called? The 5 over on, maybe it's not the 5, but it's Fox anyways, because she's not allowed to be on any CNN or MSNBC, right? Since she turned her back on the Democratic Party, she's not allowed. But let's see, what is this? So Tulsi says, by abusing our justice system and the rule of law to go after their political opponents, the Democrat elites are not only sacrificing the foundation of our country and our democracy for temporary political power, they're setting an extremely dangerous precedent for those who takes power next. They will not hesitate to do the same. And Hillary says, I'm not making any predictions, but I think we've got their eye on somebody who is currently in the Democratic primary, and they're grooming her to be a third-party candidate. She's the favorite of the Russians. Yes, remember when Hillary actually tried to call Tulsi a Russian agent? So let's hear what Tulsi had to say.
When you're talking about suspending all of Trump's rights, really what they are doing is suspending and destroying the very foundation of our democracy. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing it right before us. You saw Sam say, what did he say? More important than laws are norms.
Yes.
Well, the Democrats are so intent on undermining the rule of law and destroying our democracy in order to destroy President Biden's major political opponent. They are setting this incredibly dangerous precedent that anyone who comes into power after this will say, hey, they did it before. This new norm is something that they are creating. We saw it play out today in the court. Trump spent the day in court here in New York City instead of out campaigning, which is exactly where they want him, where the New York Attorney General, who campaigned on the fact that she would go and take down Trump, well, she's carrying that out right now, interfering, using the rule of law in order to interfere with our democracy.
And that's exactly what they're doing. We're going to dive into Trump because there's some funny shit that went down with Trump yesterday. We have to talk about it. But first, I want to say Bernie Sanders used progressives that supported him in order to accurately acquire more power for himself within the party, the Democratic Party. He's just as much as a scummy politician as any of the other fucking Dems or politicians. And that's Angel Rivera. Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. I feel so used by Bernie Sanders. I don't normally go over to Bernie's page or any of his posts and say shit, but every time that cuck shows up in my feed now trying to sell me war or crying about Medicare for all, I have no choice but to fucking say something, because think about where we could have been on Medicare for all had we leveraged the power that the progressives actually had. I was on the ground 2015, 2016, and I had this feeling like there's just so many of us. I don't know how they can overpower us, and they managed to. Why? Because of Bernie refusing to stand up and call shit out. He never called the Dems out for rigging the primary against him. Not once, not twice, never. Joe's my friend. He never came out in support of anything that progressives were trying to fight for. The only time we saw cuck Bernie Sanders come out and throw his voice to something would be something that was pushed by the moderate Dems. So Bernie is like that bad ex I can't believe I ever fucking went out with. I can't believe I ever gave him all my money. I can't believe I gave him all my time. I can't believe I crossed the country multiple times trying to talk people into supporting him and his goddamn movement. Lesson learned. I will never do that again. And I don't trust any of these guys. None of them. Not a goddamn one. There is not one. 535 seats. There ain't a one that I trust is going to actually follow through and fight for the working class. And a lot of people are loving Matt Gaetz right now, which is fine. That's fine. He actually did something. And if you heard his speeches on the floor yesterday, it was all about the working class. Yeah, I won't get fooled again. And sure, that's good to fire people up, what he's saying, but is it the reality? No, the reality is they're all politicians. They all have corporate donors. And while they have corporate donors, they're not going to do anything for the working class. They never do. And Bernie Sanders, go home. Go home. You're going to be the next goddamn Feinstein. You're already building up all your properties. You know, when we first had Bernie, he had one property. Now he's got 3 or 4 properties. Yeah, Bernie did leverage the power that the progressives gave him to make him a stronger shill for the Democratic Party. And I'm sad to say it. I'm embarrassed I ever fell for it. And, live and learn. Won't get fooled again. You're absolutely right. So people are loving Trump, right? Oh my God, it's going to come down to Trump and Biden. It's not going to come down to Trump and Biden in 2024, guys. We're going to have a big shakeup here in the next 12 months. We know it's coming. Everybody knows it's coming. Biden cannot pull it off. And Trump, they're pretty dire, freaking hardcore going after Trump. Of course, the case that is going on in New York is the one where he's charged with inflating his net worth or his property values so he could take out fraudulent loans. Well, they all do that. That's what rich people do. Rich people know you don't use your own money. You spend somebody else's money. And that's what Trump has done all along. And this prosecuting attorney that's after him, she's hell-bent. She got elected on the platform, I will get Trump. So she's following through, which is rare. You never see a politician follow through. But there's some crazy shit going on. And of course, that is a picture of Trump and his attorney and in the courthouse. We were told there was going to be no pictures, but then all of a sudden the judge let pictures. And yeah, I don't understand this comparing Jesus to Trump, but this is the most accurate court sketch of all time because nobody could have made it this far alone. Yes, Trump has Jesus on his shoulder, right? Is that what's going on? He's going to guide the nation. Okay, so this clip yesterday in court, we had a no pictures, no video. And then all of a sudden the judge lifts it. We're starting to get pictures and video. Trump made a tweet like Trump always does, and it kind of backfired on him, and he got slapped with the fucking gag order yesterday. But let's hear what it was. Now, I don't know who this video clip I brought is. You guys might be able to tell me. I know they have like 1 million followers. They're definitely shit libs. It's not somebody I watch, but the whole entire clip had me dying laughing. So here, check it out.
Time talking about how judges should consider imposing a narrowly tailored restriction on Donald Trump's speech and on his posts because he is forever, endangering witnesses, prosecutors, judges, jurors. And Judge Arthur Engeron, the New York State Court judge who's presiding over Donald Trump's fraud trial in New York, just issued what I would call a snap gag order. Donald Trump posted a picture of Judge Engeron's law clerk, a picture that was taken with Senator Chuck Schumer. And he posted that, oh, this is Chuck Schumer's girlfriend, mocking her, and then suggested it was a basis to have the case against him dismissed. Judge Engeron took the bench, I believe, after the lunch break today, and here is what he said. Quote, personal attacks on my members of my court staff are unacceptable, inappropriate, and I will not tolerate them under any circumstances. And he said, you should consider that a gag order. He added, there will be serious consequences if you violate or disobey this order.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it there and explain to you exactly what happened. So apparently there was a picture of Chucky Schumer with the judge's clerk. I don't think it was, maybe it was taken outside the courthouse. I don't think it was in the courtroom. I've looked for the picture. I didn't look hard though, and I didn't find it. But anyway, so Trump tweets it out and he says, there's Chuck Schumer with his girlfriend. And apparently this woman's kind of homely. And that's typical Trump, right? I mean, Trump calls it as he sees it. He tweets this stupid shit out. And this time it backfired on him because the judge came in and said, consider this a gag order. No more tweeting out shit like that. They didn't actually say it was a gag order against him. But these fools in this clip go on to say how this is so wonderful because none of the judges in any of these cases that they're ramming down Trump's throat have had the balls to step up and put a gag order on him and stop him from tweeting, because ultimately that's what they've always wanted against Trump, right? They've wanted a fucking gag order on him. The censoring him off of Twitter, ultimately the same shit. So let's hear some more of this shit libville we're listening to. I don't even know what this show is. It's Fed Up. I don't know. I can't even tell you who it is.
A dramatic moment, and Brian, let's hope
they support Ukraine.
This opens the floodgates for other judges to begin doing what the law allows, which is restricting Donald Trump's reckless, dangerous, false speech and posts designed to endanger witnesses and poison jury pools.
Okay, now
Yeah,
now
'cause
that
I'm
the
sure
markers
Trump
have
was
been
thinking
laid
of
here,
that.
what will happen if and when Donald Trump violates this gag order?
Let's go with when. And I
Let's go with
suspect
when.
what Judge Engoron will do is his opening salvo for a violation will probably be a big fat fine, fining Donald Trump to try to bring him into compliance. But worse comes to worse, he can hold Donald Trump in contempt. He can impose sanctions for that contempt up to and including ordering him jailed for a period of time. But let's remember, this is the case that Attorney General Letitia James brought against Trump and Don Jr. and Eric for their long-term, rampant, horrific business fraud. But because it's a civil case and not a criminal case, I think a judge in that context is far less likely to order somebody imprisoned for defying a court order. But look.
Okay, so I've heard enough of these assholes. Basically, they're going on to party and say, yay, this is a great thing. He will violate this. We will see how the judge reacts. Will they slap him with sanctions or will they fine him because it is a civil case? They can just fine him. But ultimately, if Trump defies the judge and say it's tweeted out another picture of Chuck Schumer and his girlfriend, the judge could technically hold him in contempt of court and put him in jail. This judge seems to look like he's having a great fucking time. There isn't a lot of people covering this. I mean, there's so much other going on yesterday. Of course, MSNBC, they're always on this, but I will keep you guys informed to what's going on with Trump. But I was laughing. Yeah, who would tweet out a picture of the clerk with Schumer and say, this is his girlfriend? That is Trump for you. So on another bizarre incident, Trump says that he would prefer to die by electrocution in a bizarre campaign rant. Oh my gosh, we live in such a crazy time. Okay, Trump, that's the way you want to choose it. Don't give the Democrats any ideas now. They might be coming for you. They are coming for you. But you know what Tulsi just said in that clip I brought you is 100% correct. This sets a very, very, very dangerous precedent that whoever's in power can just jail and go after their political opponents. And, that was one of the things America really prided itself on, right? We didn't do that shit here. We had freedom of the speech. You didn't like somebody, too bad. It was fair, but it hasn't ever been fair. And yeah. I can't super chat for some reason. Oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible. I don't know why. I had one super chat come in earlier, so it is working. Who knows with YouTube, though? You never know. Okay, let's check up on Biden. What's Biden been doing during all this? Hiding in his basement?
Take a look at America today.
Anyone looking to buy a home right now is facing a double challenge amid the Federal Reserve's efforts to slow inflation. According to a new report, the impact of rising interest rates on new mortgages has put home ownership beyond the reach for many.
What I'm trying to say to you is that the economy is in a better place than it has been historically.
The average 30-year fixed mortgage is now higher than 7%, which means that for somebody who has a non-fixed mortgage or a new mortgage, that's going to add hundreds of dollars to monthly payments.
We are delivering big time.
As of August, the median price nationwide is more than $407,000, and that's nearly 4% higher than just a year ago.
Biden-Harris administration.
Oh,
masterclass in terms of performance.
American Psycho.
Bruh.
That's Bidenomics.
That is
Peace.
Bidenomics.
No ball. But look at what I've inherited and what I've done.
Encore! Encore! Encore!
There you are. The housing market, the economy is great. Historical highs. Where does she even come up with this? Is it historical highs for the people living in gated communities? I think it is, right? Because they're just fleecing the rest of us and sucking it all up. So maybe it is historical highs for those at the top, because it sure isn't at the bottom, though. And yeah, home ownership in the United States is becoming out of reach for most of us. You know, thank God I have my mobile home and I have a place to live, but I accepted long ago that I will never own property in a big house, because that's not a reality for people who are at the bottom. Aspen Fallen, it worked for you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. It is a Shiba dog laughing slightly while blushing and covering his mouth with one arm. I don't know why it doesn't show it to me. Maybe it's because the way the chat is feeding in, but thank you so much, Aspen Fallen. Let's see. Let's get back down to the bottom there. Yeah, that's not all we had from Biden. Did you guys see Biden yesterday? Somebody kicked his ass. Somebody kicked his ass. And I have a feeling it was probably the bathroom floor, because, you know, when you get that age, you tend to slip and you fall a little bit. That or the Illuminati's pissed he's not doing what they told him to do. So check it out. You can clearly see this big old bruise on his face. Yeah, that's definitely a bruise. A hematoma. So what do you guys think happened? Jill get pissed? He was groping a bunch of kids and she just went ballistic on him? Or was it Nancy? Maybe Nancy punched him in the face. Who punched him in the face? Somebody punched him in the face. You know, every time we see a celebrity, a politician, a star with the black eye, we think it's the Illuminati. So maybe it was. I don't know. But my bet is that he fell and tripped. Yeah, his clumsy ass probably fell down again. That would be my take on it too. And the press, of course, hasn't said a word about it. So yeah, just a normal day, another typical day for Biden. Yeah, the hair sniffer. Maybe he sniffed some kid's hair and the father finally flipped and smacked him, you know, like the press would ever tell us that. No. But then you get arrested, like Bernie Sanders having people arrested. Can you guys fucking believe Bernie Sanders having protesters arrested for holding up a quote of something he said? I'm still just like, every day, I'm even more and more disappointed in my bad decision to support that man. So how about supporting RFK Jr.? How RFK Jr. could hurt Biden and Trump in the 2024 election with an independent bid. What do you guys think of this? What do you think? What do we think? Are we going to get behind him? I learned my lesson. I just told you guys, I learned from being burned by Bernie, but who would it hurt most? Who do you think it would hurt most? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Do you think it's going to hurt the Democrats and Biden, or do you think it's going to hurt Trump and the Republicans if RFK Jr. does an independent bid, which he is supposed to announce October 9th, right? He'll be in Philly with his big announcement. A lot of people say he's going to go as head of the Libertarian Party. A lot of people think that he's just going to be independent. You guys tell me what you guys think. We're here for speculation. and conjecture. That's what we do. I honestly think that this will hurt the Democrats more. And you guys know I was at a big meeting this weekend, and of course this topic got brought up, and some pretty moderate Dems were like, "Oh my God, that's going to hurt the Dems." And I said, "Well, maybe the Dems should drop out then. If they ain't got the votes, maybe they're the ones hurting his bid." So I really think it'll hurt the Dems. The Republicans, I mean, only those people who've woken up and got out of the cult of Trump will actually pivot and support RFK Jr. And I think that'll be a lot less than those of us on the left who are absolutely fed up with the party dictating to us and never listening to the base of us. So I think it'll hurt the Dems more. Okay, this one's kind of a funny one. This is Kim Iverson. Who made Anthony Blinken Secretary of State? Who did? Well, let's find out from Kim who did.
Who made this person Secretary of State? Oh, that's right. A senile president, Joe Biden, of course. Seems like they've all lost their memory. And Anthony Blinken, I believe, is Jewish himself. How could he not know this history? Blinken says 82 years ago, Nazis murdered 34,000 Jews at Babin Yar. Soviets buried this history, which today Putin's government manipulates to provide cover for Russia's abuses in Ukraine. The U.S. is committed to justice for Holocaust survivors and accountability for atrocities. So he's saying 82 years ago, Nazis who were not Russians, okay? Nazis were German. Nazis murdered, and Ukrainian and Austrian. Nazis murdered 34,000 Jews, and Soviets buried this history? Why would Soviets do that? I'm pretty sure the Soviets were fighting the Nazis. The readers added their community notes on this one, and they fact-checked Blinken, and they said Soviet prisoners of war, POWs, were among the people who were massacred at Babin Yar. The Soviets liberated Babin Yar and Kiev in 1943. The Soviets held a trial in 1946 in Kiev for 15 German policemen involved in the Babin Yar massacres. How could he not have? How do you bring the Soviets into the Nazis killing 34,000 Jews? How do you then bring this Russians into it, the Soviets into it, and say, well, and they're the bad guys? So you say Nazis killed Jews, Russians, they're the bad guys. How does that even compute in a person's mind? But this is how far gone we are as a society right now. It's absolutely insane.
Yes, Kim, it is absolutely insane. For one, they don't understand history. They don't know history, but we know what we're told. The victors always write history, right? So we've been sold this version of history. And a lot of us who have pushed back are now realizing it's bullshit. And yeah, Anthony Blinken is a war-mongering, war hawk, corrupt. You guys said it in the chat. This guy has ties to some of the worst. Let's see. Blinken is connected to Robert Maxwell, the Mossad, and Israel by marriage. Yeah. He just seems to be an extension of the Clinton State Department that we have been saddled with for so many years now, right? She kind of set the stage, and then now they've put these secretaries of state in there that she controls. Let's face it. Hillary Clinton makes one phone call to Anthony Blinken. He's doing whatever the fuck she told him to do. And yeah, that's the reality of it. Victoria Nuland, they're the ones that have led us into this nightmare in Ukraine, right? But it's never going to end. It's never going to end. So we talked about it yesterday. Democrat LaPonza Butler became the first Black lesbian to openly serve in the U.S. Senate. Of course, Gavin Newsom temporarily appointed her to Dianne Feinstein's seat, right? Okay, so this is a temporary appointment. LaPonza Butler is the president of Emily's List. Do you know what Emily's List is? Emily's List is where rich people go to hire contractors and shit like that. Is that what it is? And why? My only question is, why does this headline have to read the first Black lesbian to openly serve in U.S. Senate? Why does it always have to be about identity politics? Why can't you tell me about some career goal that she reached, which will make her an effective U.S. Senate? Because she wasn't elected by the people. She's never actually worked for the people, but there she is in that temporary seat. And a lot of times they get reelected or they get elected, right? She'll run in 18 months and yeah, she'll probably get reelected. But it always comes down to identity politics. Of course, I'm happy to see a Black woman lesbian doing their thing, but why is that the only reason she was chose? Because that seems to be the only reason we choose people anymore is identity politics. $30. Thank you so much for the super chat. Support local media, TPP, and independent business, UFB game. Thank you so much. Yeah, support independent media. And get out there and help people like Pasta. We want Pasta on the ground for the RFK Jr. announcement on the 9th. Let's start hitting his spot fund because he's going to need help to get there. So hopefully Jimmy will help him get there too. I'm hoping. And yeah, Gavin Newsom, this guy is American Psycho, guys. And we need to be very scared because this is who the Dems really want to roll out for next year. There's a lot of speculation about other people, but I'm telling you, I got a deep, sick feeling in the gut of my stomach that says it's going to be this psycho. And, you know, highest poverty rate in the nation, highest gas taxes in the nation, highest state income in America, record homelessness. And yes, let's give him the job of being president, right? For sure. Let's give him the job. Okay, guys, let's talk about striking workers. Striking workers, they help all of us, right? And the reason they help all of us is because even if you're not in a union, those unions set the pace for what wages are going to be, right? If you're a rat worker, that's what they call you. If you're not union, you're a rat. And of course, On Strike and Shama Sawant have been out there this week getting a lot of good information out. But you have these shill commentators like Ryan Grimm getting out there starting shit and not supporting like they always do. Ryan Dim is the worst. I was going to go break out all my old Ryan Dim memes that I had because I have a ton of them. We make fun of them, but I figure we'll save it for Beauty and the Boomer because I know Oz is going to want to go off on this. You do, Oz. I know you want to go off on, you want to eat some ass on Force the Vote, as he would put it. Okay, so let's hear from Shama. Last week, a political commentator, Ryan Grimm, blasted our broadcast for raising questions about strike strategy and what it will take to win the UAW members' demands, like a 40% raise. We think is required an all-out strike, no slow escalation. Yes. So Ryan Grimm, he's out there like, oh no, we can't give them 40% raise. That's what they're asking for. So let's hear from Shama.
It is concerning when commentators tell members of the working class to stay in our lane while themselves being well-paid members of an elite inner circle of politicians and other power brokers. Our recent broadcast, which featured myself talking with our correspondent M. Smith, who was on the picket line and interviewing strikers in Toledo, was attacked online by The Intercept's Ryan Grimm, who regularly runs interference for the progressive establishment. Last year, when Congressmember Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other members of the so-called squad voted to deny 115,000 railroad workers their right to strike, Ryan Grimm raced to their defense, claiming that this was somehow a clever strategy rather than a blatant act of betrayal by the squad. In his new attack on our analysis of the UAW strike, Grimm claims we have no right to an opinion, although apparently he does, on the direction that this or any strike is taking. He argues that the squad's strike-breaking vote is what won sick days for a majority of railroad workers in the aftermath of the strike. This claim is yet another slap in the face to those workers, as well as a blatant denial of reality. These gains, which a section of railroad workers did win recently, resulted from the mass outrage against the railroad companies over the breaking of the strike, which put pressure on President Joe Biden to do something for workers. Agreements were negotiated with the unions, and today about 75% of railroad workers are allowed to take sick time under their union contracts. It's not the full demand of the workers, and it unfortunately doesn't include all railroad workers, but it is an important step forward. It was made possible by mass working class solidarity and pressure, despite the shameful betrayals of the Democrats, not because of them. And sick time was not the only demand of the railroad workers. The far broader issues are encompassed in the brutal attendance policies known as precision scheduled railroading, which is a fancy term for describing extreme and sometimes life-threatening working conditions, such as dangerous levels of short staffing and less time for safety inspections. As we saw with the horrific disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, none of these issues has been addressed.
Yeah, go sub to On Strike or follow them on Twitter. Chanda-Masta, you can say whatever you can say about her. I did not agree with her when it came to vaccines and mandates. That is fine, though. She's my friend. We're allowed to disagree. But when it comes to fighting for the workers, I haven't seen anybody out there fighting as hard for the workers as Chanda has for the last 10 years. We managed to get, what was it? Was it 13 an hour or was it 15 an hour? It was 15 an hour in 2011. It was passed in SeaTac, which is a suburb of Seattle, because Chanda was on the ground fighting for it. And that forced the other places, it just spread like wildfire in Washington state. As soon as it passed in SeaTac, it started passing a couple other places. Businesses knew that they had to start offering 15 an hour to people to get them to do even, the lowest wage jobs, because of the cost of living in Washington state is so insane. We need much higher now. We're at the point of needing, 20 an hour, 25 an hour, depending on what state you're in and what your tax brackets are looking like. But Chanda is, nobody has fought harder than Chanda. Nobody can take that away from her. And I'm glad to see her going after the Dems again. So in other striking news, right? They're called On Strike. Chanda's group is called On Strike. Nina Turner announced yesterday that she is organizing the working class. Let's check it out. Oh my gosh. So Nina says, today I'm proud to announce we are somebody, a capable building organization for the working class. We aim to serve as a bridge between those who support unions and the workers who are putting their livelihoods on the line and demanding better for their employees. Yeah, so it's called We Are Somebody. Is that what it's called? Hello, nobody. Isn't that her thing? Hello, somebody. Nobody's listening. JB says, why not just join Workers Strike Back? You could have brought more attention to them and help them grow. And No More Lies says, why use Act Blue, a tool of the Democratic Party, to fundraise? Why? Because they're shills, and we know this. I'm just as heartbroken by Bernie Sanders as Nina Turner as I am by Bernie Sanders, right? And this constantly using Act Blue. Act Blue is the money laundering funneling mechanism for the DNC. It always has been, and all of these progressives continue to use it. Bernie Sanders continues to use it. Nina Turner continues to use it. This is just trying to make herself relevant again. And I promise you that these cucks don't have the support that they had 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we would have hit the ground organizing, but it's not like that now. We've seen their lack of accomplishing anything. Ryan Grimm is hell bent that the squad is the reason they got sick pay. No, it was the fact that the workers decided we're not going to work. We're going to go stand in the street and we're going to pick it. We're going to force them to give us this. It didn't have shit to do with the squad. It's just gross. It's so gross, guys. Oh, I brought a little funny. You guys, I brought one of these, I think last week or week before, and I don't know the woman's name. I know her name's Kate, and she lives in Wales. She's a comedian. And I just find her dry humor so hilarious. So here she is again with her do good, but don't do good.
You are not going to believe this. Pure vandalism, that's what it is. So in the People's Republic of Wales, where communist leader Drakeford has implemented 20 miles an hour speed limits everywhere, which means that you drive slower than a fat bird walking, pushing a stroller full of triplets. People are sawing down those 20 mile an hour speed limit posts using cordless angle grinders. $34.99 at Lidl. And I just think that's vandalism and it's disgusting. So you can just go to a Lidl, and you can buy this cordless angle grinder. $34.99. I know nothing. They're even advertising it, promoting it in their promotional literature that people are reading and then making these purchases so they can chop down the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, which stop you going about your business and just trying to get shit done. It's disgusting. So first, we had the vandals using foam filler from Tool Station to take down Sadiq Khan's ULEZ spy cameras. I mean, people tried to, go about their jobs, clean the city, serve their healthcare needs. They needed to be spied on. People have been filling those with foam filler, $6.69 from Tool Station. Then, in a latest act of vandalism, people were slashing the tyres of the mobile ULEZ spy cameras, disgusting, using blades, available at all major retailers, prices may vary. And if that wasn't enough, now this. Cordless angle grinders being used to take down the 20-mile-an-hour speed limit signs. I mean, I just think, I wonder what the world is coming to. Pure vandalism. I have a good mind to tweet Gary Lineker, oh, Lord love him, or maybe even Jeremy Vine. They should be aware of the sort of vandalism that's going on. People running around with these things, $34.99 from Lidl. I call it disgusting.
Okay, so there's some conflicting reports going on in the chat. Her name is Katie Hopkins. Of course, Chris Foster, you would know that because you live in the UK. But 4737 Carlin says Katie Hopkins and she's still a scumbag. Oh, these are funny. Maybe we can get a non-scumbag to just kind of copy the concept, I think the way she does it is funny. I like the dry humor of it. Okay, guys, 4 minutes and we all turn into zombies. Are you prepared? Do you say goodbye to your loved ones? Pet your cat one more time. You're going to be a zombie in 4 minutes. So I'm sure we're all going to know it. I've got my phone turned on. I don't ever turn the ringer on my phone. I'm one of those people that I don't talk on my phone. If I see it ringing, I'll be like, yeah, no, I'm not. You can email me. But anyways, so I will know when my phone goes off. She was one of the biggest Corbyn attackers out there. Oh, 4737 Carlin, really? Yeah, that was such bullshit. They painted him as an anti-Semite, right? Yeah, this was back, right? 2016, 2017. Man, that's shitty. That is shitty. But I don't know a lot about Corbyn, so I can't say that he wasn't, I don't know. I don't live in the UK. I should follow that a little bit more. Sheep will never revolt. Oh, Kurt, you're so right. It makes me sad. Well, since we're going to be turning into zombies in 3 minutes, let's watch this David Icke clip I brought because you know what? David Icke seems to know what the hell's actually going on.
I noticed when the internet was unfolding that you had companies that were using the internet and trying to develop their business through the internet, but they had a bottom line. They had a bottom line they had to think about. In other words, I can't lose so much money that I go out of business. So I've got to operate within the confines of my income and what profit I make and what have you. But there were certain companies that didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
People like Facebook, people like Amazon, people like Google.
Why?
When they were losing vast amounts of money as they were building their near monopolies now, more money was always available. And then they started buying up.
There it is. Okay, it says this is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. The purpose is to maintain and improve alerts and warning capability of the federal, state, and local, tribal, and territory levels, and to elevate the national public alert and warning capabilities. No action is required by the public. Why did it come in 3 minutes early? What time is it where you are? It's 11:18 where I'm at, so it came in a little early. And yeah, turning off your phones, I don't think was going to save you from anything. I mean, the only way your phone is not connecting to a freaking smart tower is if you take the card out of it, as far as I understand. I mean, even when it's off, they can locate them. Let's see. Corbyn was the best PM we never had, thanks to the, hold on, let me bring it up so I can read it. Thanks to the traditional working class, and hate it for everyone that or anyone that helped them, because that communists and fuck immigrants. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And we did see how badly he was attacked here in the US. We did know it, and of course we were still fighting for Bernie Sanders at that time. And we thought they were going to do the same thing to Bernie, right? Bernie was scared they were going to do the same thing to Bernie as they did to Corbyn. Okay, let's finish this clip from David Icke. Is everybody okay? Are you a zombie out there? Are you a zombie? Are you okay? I feel like I'm okay. I don't feel like I'm turning yet, but I start to drool a little, then you'll know.
Other companies like Facebook now owns Instagram and all this other stuff. And they started building these monopolies. And for instance, Amazon started out as a book company. Yeah. And as a book selling company, they were making a big losses year after year. But the money was always available to keep them going, all that stuff, and invest and expand, and they expanded. Now they're expanded into selling every bloody thing. Mm. And the high streets and the individual businesses, they're all disappearing, right? And so you get a point where your near monopoly is built with your Facebooks and your Googles and stuff. And that's when they started the real censorship.
Yep.
Because it's like, again, well, who you gonna communicate with through if you don't do it with us? Google. Oh yeah, I'm gonna Google this already. I'm not getting the results. I thought, no. You know why? Because Google is fixing the search engine.
And that's what it comes down to. These platforms, they didn't just they weren't grassroots created. It wasn't some how do you say that word? I can't say it now. Like Pasta always says, as soon as he gets on air, he can't enunciate stuff. That happens to me too. But basically, these entities were designed by DARPA. They were tapped. Zuckerberg, Elon, Bezos, these guys were tapped to be the heads of these monopolies. And we've been telling you guys this for years. Stop using Google as your search engine. Go out there, use DuckDuckGo, use something else. Don't use Bing. Bing's not any better. Microsoft, I just watched a really deep dive down on Bill Gates the other day. The way that these guys are handed money and privilege and power by the controlling war interests in this country, because that's what it's all about. And it's about getting us to war and having better toys than the next country. So is everybody okay out there? I see some of you say, I got mine a minute before you did. Well, that's weird. Would they just go out at different times across the country? I thought it was going to be 11:20 straight up. Mine came in at 11:18. Just freaking weird. Emergency alert. And then if there was actually something that we were supposed to be hiding and scared from, it wouldn't be there. Yeah, DuckDuckGo censors too. Everybody censors. Where are you going to go? Tor? I mean, I literally will bounce from search engine to search engine, trying to find stuff, because I'll be looking for something specifically and it definitely won't be on Google. Brave's been censoring too, from what I hear. So what platform, which search engine out there isn't censoring? It's not DuckDuckGo. It's not Brave. It's not Bing. It's not Google. I don't know what it is, but we're screwed. And, this David Icke takes a long time to get to his point, but when he makes the point, it's very strong. And his point was they rolled the internet out on us slowly. And they said, look at this amazing tool. You can communicate with others. You can build a new network. You can, meet up with family and friends, right? And look, it's totally uncensored. It's the movement of free speech, right? And what's happened over the last 20 years? Everybody's flocked to the internet. We were not on these devices in the 90s. We were not even on these devices in the early 2000s. We had our Nokia cell phones that charged you $10 to send a text message, or you could get a phone call, right? And then come 2010, they started giving out cell phones. Do you remember when they gave out cell phones? Verizon, you could have the new Samsung Galaxy G3 for a penny. You'll have to sign a contract for 2 years, but hey, we'll give you another phone in 2 years. You can slowly pay it off. And I remember thinking, why the fuck are they giving us free phones? This is $1,000 phone. Why are they giving us this phone? Because they needed you on the system. They needed you to be sucked into where they could control you. Because think about it. Who was controllable before this little device? The newspaper, half the country didn't read the newspaper. CNN, half the country wasn't watching CNN. So now they got us back on these phones. Yes, Popeye, don't even leave out the Barack Obama phones. I've had 2 Obama phones. I'm poor. And what a big fucking scam these are. They literally hire workers locally, and it's about getting social security numbers. And I gotta get some air. I'm dying here. It's about social security numbers. My sister-in-law went around signing people up. Oh, you need an Obama phone? I'll get you signed up. Oh, that's cool, right? And what it is they give you a shitty piece of shit little phone with 2 gigs on it, not even big enough to open up an app, right? And mine, the batteries burned it up. The batteries melted in it and burned it. But anyway, so when it shut down, try canceling that shit. I tried for 2 years to cancel it. I kept getting emails that it was going through, your minutes have arrived, but I didn't have a phone that was on it. And it's because these scam companies get that freaking social security number for the Obama phone, and they just keep running it because the government is paying them for every social security number that is signed up for an Obama phone. I'm really, really shocked that the Republicans haven't gutted that program. I know they've came after it a couple of times, but that's crazy. So basically, they got all of us addicted to these things, and now they have control. And look, they just showed you the control they have. They can literally contact all of us with just a buzz, and all of us look at our phones. If we could just roll back 10 years, what they say about the Gen Xer or the Gen Xers, why we are the most settled of all of the generations right now. It's because we grew up without technology, but yet we embrace the technology. We learned it and we understand it, but we remember a time when there wasn't technology. So we have that fail safe in us that will be okay without the technology, where the Gen Zers don't. They've never lived their life without one of these damn devices in their hands. Never. And this next generation, shit, it's going to be implanted in them. And we all know it. Thanks to this asshat, literally. Elon Musk, citizen journalism is the path to a better future. Well, I can't argue with you there. Citizen journalism can make the world a better place. Did you see him playing journalist last week? Yeah, he went down to the border with his phone and he interviewed a bunch of what was it? Sheriffs, chief of police's and some border patrol agents. Because look at me, I'm a journalist now. But on a totally separate note, did you see that his girlfriend Grimes is begging him to let her see their kid? Because they have 3 kids together. Grimes, the musicians from Canada, apparently, because Elon's got that fucked up thing in his brain like Jeffrey Epstein had, where he thinks he's going to repopulate the earth and then send him to Mars or some shit. So yeah, she wants to see her kids. Just a weird note. Okay, this clip here. You guys remember Frances Haugen? Do you remember Frances Haugen? She was the Facebook whistleblower. Do you remember her? Oh my God, what a shit lift this was. So I had to bring you this disgusting podcast I ran across, and it says the truth about Facebook. Well, I promise you the truth about Facebook is not coming from Frances Haugen, but I just had to bring this little opening clip for you guys because this is just a sign of exactly what is wrong with these social media platforms.
Alarming things about Facebook at the time that for the sort of uneducated person about your life would make one think like, well, why did she even go there?
So back in my late 20s, early 30s, so I went into the hospital in 2014. So I was 29 years old. And my health had been declining for a couple of years. So I went from being able to ride 125 miles on a bike in a day to being in a wheelchair in 2.5 years. And so I hired an assistant who was a friend of my younger brother's. And he became like essential to my recovery. And in 2016, Bernie Sanders lost the primary. And my friend,
he didn't lose. It was stolen, honey.
He kind of like fell into the dark corners of the internet.
Oh no!
He began to have a lot of conspiratorial thinking, and I remember how painful it was. Like when the Facebook recruiter reached out to me in like late 2018, early 2019, and was like, "Hey, do you want to work at Facebook?" I said the only thing I would work on is misinformation, because like watching him divorce himself from our shared reality was just excruciating for me.
How deep did it go for him?
He ended up moving to Indiana with some people who I think are questionable. It's interesting. Like the thing that saved him was he met a nice girl, and he like started going to church again, and like he's fine today. But like, you know, he was definitely running with some people who have some pretty extreme political beliefs.
Mm-hmm. So that experience with that close friend was a motivating factor in you being interested in the possibility of participating in the solution. Like Facebook's not going away.
Yeah.
If you're inside that machine, perhaps you can pull some levers and
I think it's
right
also
the ship.
It's also one of these things where like I talk about in the book the idea, and I'm not trying to brag.
Oh, she's
here,
on a book
but the
tour.
idea that we have hundreds of people in the world who understand really how these algorithmic systems work. You know, when the person said like, hey, we do have a job for you, you could do civic misinformation, it put me in like a really hard place, because on one side, like I had felt like this really intense loss, and it scared me, right? Like he was a smart, college educated, funny, insightful, empathetic person, and he still like spiraled off enough that like we would have fights over like, does George Soros run the world economy?
Yes.
Right. Like stuff that any reasonable person would be like, no, he does not.
So that is 2 hours. Obviously, she's on a book tour. And Frances Haugen, we have said it since day one. She was a plant. She is not a real whistleblower. Absolutely not. And how fucking disgusting and revolting of her. Oh, I had a good friend and he got sucked into the deepest parts of the internet. He actually believes that Soros is taking down governments around the world. Can you imagine? Because Soros really is. But I just found it disgusting. And just another reminder, don't believe these bullshit whistleblowers. You'll know a real whistleblower when you see them. I promise you will. Because it'll be detrimental information that just slays the controlling ruling class. And none of her information did shit to that. Oh, Facebook makes young girls feel bad about themselves. That's pretty much the revelation we got from Mrs. Frances Haugen. So moving on, I just had to show you guys how gross that was. It was so gross. It was the Russians. Actually, Bush started the free phones. Go start? Really? Then why did we call them the Obama phones? I did not know that. Real whistleblowers get arrested and go to prison. Exactly. Gray Walker joins third party. Exactly. So gross. I told you guys we had a huge show for today. We're not even halfway through it. The 81-year-old insider loves inside trading. Her own district is a poverty-stricken war zone. Gets so much good information from the inside. Wants to know where you got that $600 from. Hey, where'd you get that $600 from? That was from us because we feed them. 120 million net worth on a 200K salary. Husband takes trades before the house votes. Insider trading. But y'all, about that $600. Yeah, who gave you that $600? And we had to cheat because Americans won't vote for us anymore. Yeah, we know. We know. We're not voting for you. We know. What is this, Glenn? I'm probably going to skip that one for time. Okay, this story. I brought you guys a salty cracker. Salty. He is who he is. But did you hear about this story of a leftist? I know the video's out there. There's a little bit of the video in this clip, who was stabbed and murdered on the street of New York yesterday. Or was it the day before? I think it was the day before. And, you know, this is something as a leftist and a Democrat, we're not allowed to talk about. We're not allowed to talk about the skyrocketing crime, because if you do that, that emboldens the GOP and the Republicans to unleash a police state on us, right? So, no. We just ignore that every blue city in the country is a shithole, a poverty, crime-riddled shithole. I'm scared. I'm honestly scared to go into our big cities. Can I tell you that? I go into the big cities all the time. Anymore nowadays, I'm thinking, I'm just scared to even walk down the goddamn street, because as simple as walking down the street could be putting your life at risk. But why are they doing this is what we need to talk about. Why are the Democrats allowing this to happen? You know, is this the result of defund? I don't think it is. Defund the police. It's absolutely not. So check it out.
dumb son of a bitch.
Another one, boys. When it rains, it pours. And that's what you're seeing right now with this suicide cult of leftism. They dropping off like flies, boys. Like flies. Take a look at this. In the left's over attempt to not seem like a Trump supporter, in their attempt to avoid being called a racist or a fascist, they knee-jerk react and they scream in opposite direction of what anybody says who is perceived to be a conservative. So when you sit there and you go, wow, look at all these carjackings. You go, oh my God, this, where's your evidence? Oh my God, look at all these murder rates. Oh my God, what, you're white supremacist is racist. Now shut the fuck up. Look around. Every single one of these Democrat-run hellscapes, their downtowns are all shuttered. They're not shuttered because of rainbows and sprinkles. They're shuttered because of crime.
And he's right. That's exactly the truth. We cannot lie and pretend that the Democratic blue cities are safe right now. They absolutely aren't. And if you talk about the crime, then you're racist or you're a conservative Trump supporter. The reason that they do this, oh, now I got to turn that shit off so I don't have to hear it. The reason they're doing it is so they can roll out more authoritarian measures in the future, right? They can't roll out authoritarian measures on a city that's running fine, like our cities were 10 years ago, right? No, they have to do it so that way oh my God, crime's so bad. We have to know every single person that's on the street. We need more security cameras. We need more, police robots. Right. So this just emboldens them. It makes me sad that you're just going about your business and, this poor man. I have questions about that video. If you guys have watched that video, I didn't bring the whole video. I try not to bring that morbid shit for you guys, but why did the wife or the girlfriend just stand there? I get it. Was she scared? But still, I mean, I don't know. And why did they just not walk away from that guy? Why did they encounter him? If I encounter somebody who seems to be having a mental health crisis on the street, I'm just walking away. I know there's nothing I can do. Like, keep moving. Last time I was in the city, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, I had to walk because I was doing cash only and you can't take the monorail unless you have a card. So I had to walk the 10 blocks up to the Science Center and the Space Needle from downtown. And there's a lot of vagrants between downtown and the Space Needle in Seattle. And my whole thing is don't make eye contact. I know that's terrible to do as a human being, is not to make eye contact with somebody else. But in those type of situations, there has been so many people stabbed, shot, just accosted downtown Seattle that anymore, I don't want to be, I don't allow myself that. I don't get in that bubble. I just keep moving, man, like head down and don't engage them, because once you engage them, then they keep coming, it seems like. So that's just my personal opinion. Do you start carrying weapons into the big cities? I mean, because that's what the Republicans are telling you. Don't go into a big city unless you got your concealed carry. I don't know. That's just not the answer, but for me, it's stay the hell out. Yeah, I got a big old thing of bear spray a couple of weeks ago. One of my girlfriends brought me a big bear spray and my taser. Of course, I have a taser from when that crazy Trump supporter punched me in the face at Wendy's. I've had some crazy encounters, and that's why I stay away from people. Okay, we got an anniversary here, guys. 6 years since the Mandalay Bay shooting. And we still don't know what the fuck that was all about, or do we? Was it about getting metal detectors in every single casino in Vegas? It could very well have been. But isn't it odd that the chief of police from Vegas is now the chief of police in Lahaina? Almost like it was planned that way. Like, hey, you're pretty good at handling this scummy, fraudy shit that we want to pull. So why don't you go work down here and we're going to take that land. That's my conspiracy. Sue me if you want. I think it was intentional that he was there. But so let me get this straight. So he gets about 4,000 pounds of equipment up 30 floors, sets up a concealed sniper nest, disarms fire alarms and other security systems in place at a casino, which has the eye in the sky everywhere, removes a window that weighs 800 pounds of hurricane-proof glass, and then for 10 minutes, resigns in aimed firepower, all with no training whatsoever and with no motivation. Yeah, I'm just going to say this. CIA. I was working American Activist live streams when that happened, and this was before the internet was seriously being censored. I mean, we had just came out of Philly, so we knew they had the ability to take our videos, block our videos, and do that. But when we were moving those videos, that 24-hour period, because there was so many people in the crowd that had their phone that just hit record as they're running, as the gunfire is spraying, right? We just saw that there was more than one shooter, right? It's like the grassy knoll. There was more than one shooter. There's still so many questions when it comes to this. Will we ever get answers? Hell no. And I think he was maybe some kind of weapons, distributor. He was arms dealer. I think that's really what. But they never said that, right? I don't think they've ever said that. What the hell was that really about? We never got any answers. Never will. Probably just shot through the glass. No, they said he took the glass out. I know, that's what I thought too, Hemcar. I thought, but no, they said he had those stupid suction cup things. And like he pulled the window out. I don't know. I did a lot of research into it at the time that it happened. And now here we are 6 years later. And nobody's ever said anything. He was a lone gunman. Apparently he was pissed off because he lost a bunch of money at the casino. And that is why he did what he did. That's what we have been told. That's the official narrative on that. But I didn't want it to pass without anybody bringing it up. And I think it's so crazy that chief of police just happens to be in Lahaina at the same time, right? Okay, let's talk about Bill Gates. He just mysteriously bought up a bunch more land on the border of Washington and Idaho. And that is where all of our potatoes are grown. All of the McDonald's French fried potatoes are grown. So let's hear about it. And why was he hiding that he did it?
I know you've heard that Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland in America, but have you actually seen any evidence of it? Like, how do we know that he's buying up all the farmland in America? Well, when you look into the story of how we found out, it only gets sketchier. And it's just kind of interesting. The trail started here when a reporter at the Tri-City Herald noticed that one of the biggest rural land purchases in recent American history had just happened on the border of Washington. They paid $171 million for 14,000 acres. But then it got weird because the tax filings showed 100C LLC, which is incorporated in Delaware but based out of Monterey, Louisiana. And it shared a P.O. box with Angelina Farm Partnership, aka Angelina Agricultural Company. The story got picked up by an investigative reporter at the Land Report, and this had tickled his curiosity because they tracked this stuff and he'd never heard of Angelina Agriculture. And he dug into them and found out that Angelina Agriculture has 2 employees and apparently makes $300,000 a year, which I was able to corroborate pretty quickly. 2 employees, $346,000 a year, according to this source. Yet they're paying $171 million for some land. But then, the reporter tracked down the address of Angelina Agriculture, and the listed address led them here, to this shack on a highway in Louisiana. The business registered to this shack had dropped $171 million to buy up a bunch of really fertile farmland in Washington State. This little shack over here dropped $171 million over here. I did my own digging and corroborated this address. It was a little tricky to track down, but I found a few different sources that agreed. So where does Bill Gates come into all this? Well, various investigative reporters stayed on the case for up to a year, sifting through multiple layers of corporate ownership. They noticed that Angelina Agriculture, although it's based in Louisiana, it shares a corporate mailing address with Bill Gates' Cottonwood Ag Management in Kirkland. And then this other reporter, Janiak, traced through the paper trail and it led back to Cascade Investment, LLC, which is Bill Gates' investment management firm that manages his money and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's money. And real quick, I couldn't help but notice that it's the successor company to Dominion Income Management, which he used to use and was headed by convicted felon Andrew Evans. So Andy Evans was a speed racer, and he was in the finance industry in the 80s and got convicted for fraud, bank fraud, and SEC rule violations, probably because he was getting in on that 80s fraudulent fucking gold rush in Wall Street. And that's why Bill Gates personally selected him to be his personal investment advisor.
They're all criminals. They're all fucking criminals, especially Bill Gates. But on a different note, have you guys seen Bill Gates's chest lately? He's got bigger tits than I do. And I just think that maybe they're putting too much hormone in the impossible meat, and maybe he should lay off of it a little bit. Yes, he gets to dictate to the rest of us how we are going to live because he has such clean, healthy living style of his own. I was thinking about it as I was watching that Bill Gates thing. So my step-grandparents, my stepdad's parents, where one of them was a professor at the University of Washington and friends with Bill Gates Sr. and Bill Gates's mom. And we lived in our little tiny trailer mobile home, but we would go over there for Christmas or whatnot. And they had this beautiful mansion that was right on the water. I remember you could sit out on the deck, the kitchen, and you could see the whole entire Seattle skyline. I mean, to have a property like that is insane, right? But they would always get sauced up because I don't know what it is about the rich people. They think that getting hammered is socially acceptable. It's okay, right? But they would always talk about eugenics. And I remember this as a kid now, like they were always talking about the Third Reich. They were always talking about Nazis, and they were always talking about eugenics. And it makes sense now. It all makes sense. And Bill Gates is planned to take over the world. It's coming along. And there's Billy and his dad. Yeah. Daddy was so much taller than him, right? So Bill Gates never actually built anything. The first and probably one of the only things he ever coded was a tic-tac-toe game in the late 60s. But then after that, he just went on stealing everybody else's shit and saying it was his, right? That's what he did. Bill Gates. So first ever space hotel is slated for operation by 2027. We literally just want healthcare. Yeah, just want healthcare. But no, the elites are going to get a space hotel. Ugh. I would get sick on that thing. It goes around in a circle. I just want to puke up. Would you go to space if you could? If you could charter yourself a room in space, would you do it? Would you go? I don't know. If I had the money, I don't know. It's kind of pretentious. We got a Fee says, congratulations to Fee. She is doing such amazing work. It's so much fun watching her and Pasta slay it. But I had to bring this little clip of her because she has been in Iran this week. How insane. I've seen women here be in leadership positions and be appreciated in a way that I haven't seen anywhere else. U.S. journalist Fiorella Isabel, who is in Iran to attend the International Khorshid Media Festival, speaks out against Western narrative on Iranian women. Let's hear from Fee. Fee says,
well, prior to coming to Iran, I was told not to come by multiple people who meant well in the United States, thinking, Iran is dangerous, reading the mainstream media narrative that it is oppressive, a dictatorship, and that women have no rights. This is exactly what I was told. But because of going to countries that, I'm told not to go to, like Nicaragua, Cuba, Venezuela, and then Russia, I have found that in those countries that have been under the hegemony of the United States, this whole situation where they're painted as dictatorships has been false every single time. And so coming to Iran, I had an idea that would be so, but I didn't know that it would be to the extremity of where I have seen women here be in leadership positions and be appreciated in a way that I haven't seen in other parts of the world in general. Women are treated in a delicate form, and it's not like women need to be saved. It's more of like they are given the freedom to use their intellect and their opinions, and the focus on the hijab has been just so formulated to push and sow dissent and cause regime change. This is something I've seen in the various countries I've mentioned, as well as my colleague here mentioned, women are utilized for a certain narrative, and we are not given the ability. It's condescending that we don't have a mind of our own. And I've found here that the women of Iran, if they had a problem with the way they were being treated, these women would certainly speak out.
That's very good. Even after a couple of days, you've picked that up already, that definitely Iranian women will not tolerate being mistreated.
Excellent clip. Fee, killing it. I'm so proud of her. just if you're not following Fiorel Isabel, go ahead, follow her. She is doing some of the most important work. Yeah, they like to say that these women are courageous, like the warmongers of the world, the Victoria Newlands and the Hillary Clintons. But those are just war hawks. You want to talk real fucking peace? It's what Fee's doing, going in, understanding how women are treated in these other countries. And yeah, we are fed such a bullshit narrative when it comes to Iran. Yeah, that the women there are strong. Go back and look at what they were like in the 60s and 50s before America oppressed them the way they did. Women are strong. And yeah, I love the Fee, Lego Fee. Isn't Lego Fee cute? I think Lego Fee is super cute. Such a good job. Fee says, make sure you're following Fee. Just a couple more and we'll hit Meme Alley. Let's see. Seattle to pay nearly $2 million after man dies of a heart attack at an address wrongly on a 911 blacklist. So the family alleged that Yerke was wrongfully included on a blacklist of people known to be hostile to the police or fire crews. Yerke lived in a unit a couple of years before his death, and the previous tenant had been on the outdated list, according to the lawsuit filed yesterday. So $2 million to his family, because when he called 911, they said, oh, that fucker, yeah, we're not showing up there. And it turns out it wasn't even him. It was the tenant before him. So basically, the tenant before you can be a bad dude and 911 won't come for you. Who knew 911 had blacklists? Who knew that? That is just a crazy story. I brought the article. We deep dive into it. We could have deep dived into it, but we're getting a little late today. So let's see. Make sure I'm not missing anything on it. Medics were told to wait for a law enforcement escort. So they didn't go because they had to wait. 13-year-old son called 911 again and was told help was on its way. Once the medics did arrive, they did everything they could to save his life, says the attorney. So there you are. Make sure that your neighbors or the people that live where you're living before you weren't on a freaking 911 blacklist. That's insane. That's insane. Let's see. The Earthlings will never suspect we are aliens. That was pretty funny. Come on. Matt Gaetz has got a crazy ass forehead. Have you ever looked at the design of that guy's brow? Like, it's really pronounced and almost like, I don't know. I was looking at it yesterday. Like, yeah, that's a weird brow shape. Okay, here we go. Let's do Hollywood Go Fuck Yourself. We'll do Hollywood Go Fuck Yourself. What do we got? I sent me this one this morning. Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Assault trial reaches a verdict before it even began. So yeah, he pled guilty. Let's see. In April of 2022, another case came against him after a woman in New York's nightclub claimed he forcefully kissed her in 2018 without consent. Cuba pled guilty and avoided up to a year in jail after complying with all requirements, including attending alcohol and behavior modification counseling. The actor did not receive a criminal record. Okay. This is the third time that he's been accused now. So they let him off the hook the first time. So he was touching a woman without her consent in a New York lounge. And that's all it says. Great fucking reporting, MSN. AP, way to go. You can't even ask the basic questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how? Like, yeah, all those are is fucking clickbait, right? You see them every day. I see them every day. You click on it, and there's really no information more than the headline. Stevie Nicks gets her own Barbie doll. CBS is excited about this. Did you see it? It doesn't even look anything like her. I saw it yesterday. The only thing that looks like her is the boots and the tambourine. This is so stupid. They basically just slapped some black clothes on a Barbie and said, look, it's your Barbie. I love me some Stevie Nicks, though. Okay, guys, you can't get out of the trailer park without going through Meme Alley. So let's get through Meme Alley. And Meme Alley is long and dank today. We got a bunch. Okay, let's get started with Dave Chappelle. When people are too lazy and apathetic to do their own research, so you have to make memes to trick them into learning. Modern problems require modern solutions. And that is exactly why we do Meme Alley, right? My first instinct when I see an animal is to say hello. My first instinct when I see a person is to avoid eye contact and hope it goes away. I already told you guys I do that. But I definitely talk to animals. Yeah, I do. I'm bad about talking to the animals. They're kind. They don't hurt people. This is how the IRS looks at your paycheck. Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Okay, let's see. Getting everybody Christmas gifts ready. You still have time to let me know if you want chicken, beef, or shrimp. Yeah, Christmas is going to be tight this year. If you guys haven't heard, there's going to be some major supply chain shortages this year. Funny how people can tell you the plot holes in every movie, but can't see the plot holes in the mainstream narrative. Oh, yeah, that's a burn. That is a burn. I am one of those people that see the plot of the movie before it happens. This is cute. Splash Mountain 2010, 9/11 was a lie. But he looks so serious. I wonder if that's photoshopped. If it wasn't photoshopped, props, man. That was a big burn. And let's see. When it's 83 and sunny, but also October. Oh, gosh, I'm living that. I know you guys are too. It's hot. It's cold. It's cold. It's hot. Yeah, it sucks. Wealth breeds a class of people for whom human beings are disposable commodities. Once oligarchs achieve unchecked economic and political power, as they have in the United States, the citizens too become disposable. Ugh. Chris Hedges said that. We haven't seen Chris Hedges lately. What's Chris been up to? He's been awful fucking quiet. Is it just me? I'm going to have to go take a look. What has Chris been up to? Tell me. And let's see if it's a hot, if that hot goth witch chick suddenly gives you a chance this month, don't fall for it. It's sacrifice season. Trust me. Guys, come on. That one was funny. Don't fall for it. And that is my favorite wallpaper for sure. The wall. The aliens didn't distract them from plan B. Release who killed Tupac. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's what happened here, right? I kind of feel like that was just set out there as bread and circuses for the masses. They've known since 2018 that dude admitted what he admitted in that documentary. So why did it take him 5 years? It's better to walk alone than with a crowd going in the wrong direction. Yep. We are going in the wrong direction for sure. Oh my God, too funny. I almost blew my cereal out my nose. You see it? Do you see it? Pee-wee was in that theater while Bobart was getting a boob felt up. Let's see. I'm a member of a species that thinks working 5 days a week for 40 hours to pay off debt created on a bank's computer screen is freedom. There you go. Freedom. Get out there and do your job. And how hard I pronounce the F in fuck no when the cashier asked me if I want to round my total up for charity. Yeah. Oh my God. Who's the worst about this? A Goodwill. You want to give your money to Goodwill? Like, fuck no. I ain't giving my money to the CEOs. You actually paid your workers, but no, you guys hire, ADA people, and then you give them like $3 a fucking hour, and you think I want to give your CEO my money? Not ever happening. Screw Goodwill. Most America. Yeah, the couch is on fire. The couch is on fire. Okay, a few more memes in the Dink Meme Alley. There is a building on fire. You can only save 2. Who do you save? Oh, man. I'm saving Pennywise and the dog. Oh, yeah, it's got to be Pennywise and the dog. Even Josie Smollett, I would probably save before any of the politicians. One of these 2 Kevins successfully defended their house. That's too funny. Yeah, well, it wasn't Kevin McCarthy. We know that. G. Yeah, everybody's saying Pennywise or the dog for sure. Oh my gosh. And I'm going to skip that. I'll read that to you next week just because we're running out of time. And the proper amount of sage for 2023. That is so true. I just made me a couple of sage wands when I was over in Eastern Washington on vacation because there was sage everywhere. So I had to get my little emergency thread kit out and I made me a couple sage wands because I'm tired of paying for them. And that is Meme Alley. We are almost out of here. Let's talk about Julian Assange. So John Shipton shared this out. I thought this was pretty profound. So this morning, this morning I visited what is being called Socrates' prison. This is no proof whistle or whatsoever. There's no proof whatsoever, which doesn't prevent me to think of him and other truth tellers who have been imprisoned and killed throughout the last 2,400 years. Impossible not to think of Julian Assange still in prison. I didn't know that there was a place that they said this is where they locked Socrates up. That's crazy. I mean, there is no proof that this is where they locked him up, but it looks like it's super old, right? Maybe went back to the Bronze Age or something. And Comrade Misty Winston wants to remind you that today marks the 17th year since Julian Assange founded WikiLeaks and changed journalism and the world forever. Thank you, Julian Assange. And you can write Julian Assange. There's his address. While he's there, let's get him some postcards and some love, just telling him we appreciate him hanging in there while we fight to get him freed. So free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Isn't that crazy, the Socrates thing? I didn't know that. It is Wednesday, which means I shout out Joey's Coffee. Happy Silly Wednesday. Make sure you get a hold of Oz and get your Joey's Coffee order in. But even if you don't drink coffee, you can drink what I'm drinking. Like right now, I've got Joey's homemade dandelion tea. If you're feeling a little under the weather, that always just pops me right out of it. There's something magical in Joey's dandelion tea, I'm telling you. Okay, guys, we're almost out of here. Beauty and the Boomer will be back up on Saturday night. We missed you last week, but Oz is hard at work making sure that all of our graphics and music are getting done this week, and I'm going to start building the duck tomorrow, so we're going to have fun. I feel like we haven't done a lot of Beauty and the Boomers. Well, we only did 2 last month, maybe 3. I think we only did 2 last month. So yeah, it'll be good to be home with you guys doing what we do best. And that is boomering out. So let's see what else do I got. And make sure you go out there and follow Craig Postage Ardula's YouTube channel and watch Lahaina on Fire, the aftermath, and give him a thumbs up. Let's share it. Let's get it out there for people to see the truth, because that's why we're on the ground getting truth, right? And that is it. We are out of here. I brought a great closing song from Jesse Jett, the Kings of Colony. I think this is the song that runs at the end of Lahaina on Fire. And I just want to support Jesse and everything he's doing. I've always said since the beginning of all of this, for me, where are the artists? Where's the musicians? Where's the poets? You know, we need them, and they're here. We just got to promote them as much as we're promoting other independent media. Okay, guys, let's shout out the chats and we're getting out of here. Is everybody still alive from your emergency alert? I hope so. I hope so. Death to Tyrants is hanging out over on the Rokfin. So is Hemp Car. Denver Attaway, good to see you. Port of New Jersey cargo volume dropped 21% in August, says Denver Attaway. Yes, I'm going to cover our supply chain drop. Some of the things that you're not going to be able to get come Christmas time, like hazelnut, Nutella, cleaning supply. There's so much. I'm working on a list right now of things that you should probably go out there and gather right now, because it's not going to be around for one reason or another. Cauliflower. Have you guys seen the fucking price of cauliflower lately? I saw a head of organic for $8 the other day at Walmart. I about fell over. $8 for a head of organic cauliflower. Jim's hanging out over there. So is Amber King's hanging out. Hey, Amber, how's it going? Busy work morning? I hope not. I got Death to Tyrants already. Jim, Fred Edwards. You guys are talking. I think I got everybody over on there. If I didn't, I apologize. I will get you next time. If you stop by long enough, you eventually get shouted out. That's the way it works. And Rumble, I see you. Oh my gosh, we had 25 watching on Rumble today. Welcome, Rumble. We're so glad that you're here. Go starts hanging out over there. And so is IB Cat 1. Hi, IB Cat 1. And Avery 52. Good to see you. Oh, who else is over here? Corky 82. Hey, Corky. Thanks for joining me. And thank you to everybody over there who joined me. Is Carnation in here? I think Carnation's in here too. I I don't see it anymore, but I'm excited. We have people watching on Rumble. Thank you so much. And shout out to our Kick watchers. Dingo's over on Kick. Dingo ate me, baby. And I think we got one more. Who else? Did I get the Rumble? I got the Rokfin. I got the Kick. I got the YouTube. I got to shout the YouTube out. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for all of the super chats this morning. I appreciate it. It keeps us going. It keeps all of our subscriptions paid for, and that's how we keep doing this. We don't do this to make money. I never do. Aspen Fallen, thank you so much. Oh, great show. Much love to you. Salty's Digital Dive. Kate's still here. Thank you so much for hanging in there, Kate. Popeye the Sailor. Kurt Boss, I'm loving that you're hanging out. Keep coming back. It works, right? Chris Foster. If you know what that is, that's what you say at the end of a AA meeting. Keep coming back. It works. It does work. V's here. Good to see you, V. Uncle Warren, of course, make sure you're following Extra Bola out there. Chris Foster, I hope you show up for Halloween. Who else is out here? Gray Walker joins third party. Thank you so much for your comments today. And I got Salty. I got the... trying to scroll and see, and you guys know I can't see well, so there you are. I think I got everybody at the beginning and at the end, so come back tomorrow and I'll shout you out, or come back next time. Okay, guys, we are out of here. I hope you have a good day. Stay safe from that emergency alert. Make sure you decontaminate your phone now, right? And we're closing with The Kings of Colony, full lyrics by Jessie Jet. Please go follow Jessie Jet if you're not following Jessie Jet. I will see you Saturday night for Beauty and the Boomer. Have a great and safe rest of your week. Oh, come on. What was that? What was that? How do I get it to play? Okay, there.
Now what you're following, that's idolatry, that's just fake. And all that wallowing that you tolerate, that's not faith. The kings of colony watched autonomy make our graves. The kings of colony know no policy, only rape. Now once you fall asleep, it won't bother you what they say. But the kings of colony, while they slaughter, they still complain. And we say, please color me, still too solemnly, still too plain. All hail economy, praise the pharmacy, seas in flames. They're buying up Hawaii, and the smoke's not even cleared. Those vultures smelled the fire and an enterprise appeared. Investment opportunities were melted down, communities leave vacant space BlackRock has been lusting for years. The council meets in private and they don't discuss survivors. Concerns among construction groups are all Lahaina hears. They'll wander through your city with this mocking sword of pity next to Oprah and her camera crew who tore the Trail of Tears, where footage flows as freely as the stream of liquid steel and the pools of pure aluminum that trickle down your wheels. And Biden's here to say he knows exactly how it feels, cause he had a kitchen fire once and had to miss a meal. And people still believe that piece of shit deserves your vote, like he's not why supplies are being smuggled in by boat, like he's not why our citizens were forced to stay and roast. And he can't unfreeze your funding, folks, cause Azov needs it most. I'll bet my every dollar Biden watched it with a smile. I'll bet he knows the whereabouts of every missing child. He's just the kind of man who lives to trample something tribal, collecting culture's corpses just to throw them on the pile. Like he and all his buddies didn't dream about the day when those who dared defy the donor class were cleared away, when home insurance triples and you can't afford to stay, and your land falls to the hands of those whose windfall fan the flames. The state will take Lahaina and they'll bastardize its name, and tourism will swarm it all the same. You see, the state we left Lahaina shows the ground rules of the game, the planes that in the night ignite the planes. And if questions raised that reckon the potential use of lasers, I suggest you take a closer shave by way of Occam's razor. And if those civilians stood between this country and its gains, then there's really nothing further to explain. Because you may know this already, if you truly know our past, but it ain't the first occasion and it will not be the last, where Americans are kettled in and made to bear the blast, are barricaded in and left for ash. How many in Lahaina now are lying there awake and still can hear the city we left leveled in our wake? They still hear all the people that we let the fire take, instructed from above to stay in place. So look to the horizon, 'cause a fire comes for you. Desire made incarnate of the power-hungry few who instructed the police to not let anybody through, to barricade them in, and so they do.